Hello. So, I am Chastity, and if you can't tell by the way I'm moving my mouth and by the title of this video, I am gonna be talking about my first time getting adult braces. It's still so weird looking at myself and recording myself and talking, which has probably been the most complicated. So if it looks like I'm talking weird, or my mouth looks weird, or you see me having a hard time pronouncing certain things, it is because I have ceramic braces in my mouth, and for some reason I have one that keeps getting stuck on my lip. We're doing so well today. So let's get right into it. So I am 29 years old, about to be 30 next month, and I have braces. I never had braces as a kid, but before getting braces, and I'll get into detail in a second, but before getting braces, I did so much research, and I just want to explain that this has been something that has been a possibility for a long time. And to emphasize on that, I got braces, or technically need braces, because there is a large possibility that 2 years or a year and a half from now, I will be getting jaw surgery. So let's rewind. This all started years ago. So I'm gonna be explaining my experience with the braces so far. I've only had them for a week, and today is the first day that I feel finally more comfortable, believe it or not. And a lot of my pain and swelling has gone down. So years ago, I never really had issues with my teeth. I only had one cavity my whole life. I had like a little space. The only real issue that I had was that I was a teeth grinder, and I've been grinding my teeth since I was a kid. So I knew at some point something was bound to happen. As I got older, of course, you see your face changing, you see things kind of like realigning in different places. But in the past, I have gone to the dentist, I've seen an orthodontist, because I recognized that I started developing, outside of the teeth grinding and getting fitted for many mouth guards that I would like bite through in my sleep. Ow. Just so hard. This is like a constant thing. You've probably seen videos. If you are just starting your braces journey, or if you have thinking about getting braces or have braces, you know that you're constantly, at least because I have more prominent teeth in my mouth shape, like lip go over the brace. But anyway, I've been to the dentist many times, and I never had any serious issues other than teeth grinding. So I never really had a problem until I started noticing. So obviously with age and, smoking, which I did in the past, and now I vape too much. But over time, you start to see these little things that are changing, right? Especially aesthetically, but then you notice that the aesthetic, it's so much more than that. It's deeper. You might have some muscle spasms. Your sight might be changing. Your jaw might be clenching more. You might have more stress in your neck. You might get headaches. There's so many things that you eventually find out are pretty linked to each other. Your body's connected, your feet connect to your head, and as far as pressure points, so there's a lot to keep track of and pay attention to. Also, if I'm spitting, we get it, right? So anyway, so I started noticing that my jaw line was starting to change, and I started getting like more bunching in my chin. Not that it was a bad thing, but I was like, this is weird. So I went to the orthodontist. I told him, I've been having a lot of stress in my jaw. I'm clenching more. I feel like, I've just been having all these issues that I'm noticing are becoming worse. So they taught me about facial massages, massaging the inside of your jaw with your thumb, and just trying to do things to help kind of bring you to a more relaxed space before you go to bed, to help avoid grinding as much, other than wearing a mouth guard. But over time that developed into TMJ, which I may have had a slight case of already, but I noticed it now more prominently on one side of my face. So for me, it's my left side. I noticed that I would clench more. I noticed that my muscle was always super sore. I noticed that I'd have a constant popping every time I opened my jaw. Then I almost thought I had like a thyroid issue, because this side of my neck, you could probably see it, but it was always just so tense and tender and hurt me that I was constantly massaging it and felt like there was always pressure. Then I started, this eye would always twitch. I started noticing more hollowness on the side of my face. My head started hurting and my temples. So it was just like things that were happening too much on one side of my face that I started getting concerned. And for me, when I'm trying to figure out a problem, especially with my body, and at the time my insurance had ran out, so I was just like, oh my God, I have to figure out all the things that I could do to help myself without paying hundreds of dollars to see a dentist. Maybe it's a problem I could solve. No. I ended up developing TMJ that became worse over time, of course. And again, there's so many other things that factor into making this a bigger issue than maybe it was 5 years ago, right? So recently, before even the braces, I started using facial rollers, facial massagers, gua sha. I can never pronounce it, but I recommend it to everybody. I started using that to help release the tension in my muscles. I started giving myself facial massages. I bought another mouth guard, doing eye exercises, facial exercises, all of the above. Finally, I live in Puerto Rico. I have been living here for the 2 years, but up until December, I haven't had any insurance. So I went, and before that, I've done tons. I can't, at this point, I should either have a doctorate or some sort of certification that proves I know just that. I may not be able to do it, but I know just as much as any dentist or orthodontist might, at least regarding this. Years of, and months especially, looking up every single thing that could possibly be wrong. So obviously the TMJ was confirmed. And then I was trying to figure out my bite. I was noticing a massive misalignment in my bite, that these teeth used to sit on top of each other comfortably. I was a nail biter, so I was able to bite my nail off. Now I have an overbite, cross bite. So I can't even, I couldn't even think of biting my nails. This is why they're long now, which is good. But I had a crossbite, and then up until maybe within the last year, I started noticing wow, my jaw is really misaligned. This side, it almost felt like, and I'll show you at some point in the video, but it almost felt like, and it looks like to me, that these teeth, so okay, say your teeth are like this, with your mouth open, it's like this side hit the teeth, and this side stayed a little spaced. And I can hardly show you, so you might see that these teeth go into each other, the bottom into the top, and these sit on top of each other, right? But if you look, it lines up. If I were to try to put my bite to where it normally sits pre-braces, it would be this line or here and this or here, like you could, it was so obvious, and it made me more self-conscious because I became obsessed with it and concentrated so much, and it becomes a thing, which I'm sure many people can relate. You notice a problem, especially on your face, and it's something that affects you outside of just the aesthetic, you know. It started affecting many parts of my body, so I couldn't help but not be as present as I wanted to, because this was constantly something I was aware of, right? Like I was constantly looking at it, watching the way I talk, the way I breathe, the way I eat, how my eyes should like match up, because one almost felt like it was super lazy because of this. So it was like all these little things that I was so self-conscious of and became obsessed and like super insecure about. So anyway, fast forward, I finally get my insurance, go to a dentist, tell them my issues. A dentist can only do so much. They're not an orthodontist or an neurosurgeon. So it kind of felt like I was getting a lot of no's, a lot of, you don't need this, you don't need this, because back in New York, where I was originally from, and going to the dentist before my insurance, everyone was like, surgery and braces are like last resort. You don't even need to worry about that. And I was like, okay, like if you say so. But they did recommend Botox, which I did end up getting for about 2 to 3 years on and off. Like I would get it maybe twice a year, once a year, and it helped. It helped relax my muscle. Obviously, if they do it on one side, you want to do it on both. So I did it on both sides, and it helped so much. And I was like, oh my God, problem solved. But no, still there were underlying issues that needed to be taken care of, especially with the TMJ. So after seeing an orthodontist and 2 dentists here and a neurosurgeon, everyone was like, oh, you need to remove your wisdom teeth. Actually, you don't. You need braces. Actually, you don't. You don't need surgery. Maybe you do. And I was like, I know after everything I did, and this is what I was waiting for, I knew going into all of this and starting almost all over again, I was like, I know I need braces, and I know that those braces are going to lead to a possible jaw surgery. I don't know if it's going to be a double jaw surgery, but it's likely going to happen, and I need someone who really knows what they're doing to tell me and confirm this, because I was almost feeling like, am I crazy? Like, I've seen all these cases and it makes sense for me to have it. Especially I found out that I had long face syndrome, which has to do a lot with your upper jaw being larger than your lower jaw, and that can also change from TMJ and cause that to be more obvious and a more extreme case. Because before, I don't know if I had that before, but I never felt like these weren't problems that bothered me more than 5 years ago, you know? Even the symmetry of my face and how things lined up. I lost a lot of bone density. So this is also information that I got from the orthodontist. So before I get into that, finally, you don't understand, it was like the gates of heaven opened up, and I got recommended to this orthodontist after I was feeling like depleted. I'm like, there's no way. Everyone keeps saying like what I don't want to hear. Maybe I'm being too stubborn, like I don't know, but like I know what I need. Finally get recommended to Dr. Orsini in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, if you guys are curious. And the second I walked in there, I was like, I could have cried, because I just felt like I was understood and that things were actually going to be moving forward, you know, instead of just in this I don't know what's happening space, which I was in for a while. So I finally go, and right away he takes measurements of my teeth, my gums, the sides of my face, and he's like, you lost a lot of bone density on your left side, you have TMJ, it's affecting your jaw and kind of shaving down your bone, because, you know, obviously your face is now used to sitting a certain way and your jaw is used to matching up with your teeth the way that it shouldn't. So he was like, if you have been getting any headaches, any earaches, any issues with your eyesight, and I was like, all of the above for 500. He was like, this is a problem that we have to start solving because who knows what'll happen in the next 5 years. And I was like, are you God? Because literally, unless you're like my soulmate, you're the only person who has said exactly, like almost word for word, what I knew. So I was like, let's do it. I'm down for whatever. So we had a consultation in person, then a Zoom consultation. He showed me before and after. And the most interesting part to me was being able to see like this 3D version of what I would possibly look like once everything is done, even after the braces and jaw surgery. So I was shook because it almost looked like the old me, which sounds weird to even say, but too self-aware, I guess. But anyway, the reason why you have to get braces before you get, just like any surgery, there's the pre-op care, right? So with jaw surgery, basically means they're taking you have two jaws. They're taking your top jaw, your bottom jaw, and breaking it and realigning it, repositioning it, and put it back into a space where it wouldn't be so hard for my lips to meet. It wouldn't be so hard for me to chew, because I have noticed that over time, it goes like this, my teeth. So they go from like this to this. At least that's how I feel like they look and feel, especially because I grind my teeth again. So I know my teeth are also shifting, changing pre-braces, and some things you gotta live with, some things I'm like, nah. I can't smile too big because then I'm like, so anyway, he was like, you have to get braces because not only do you want your teeth to be in the right position before the surgery, but it might help a lot more with your TMJ than you expect, since that's one of your issues. And I was like, done. So before braces, they put in, which is not required for everyone, but they put in these spacers. So they're these little rubber bands that they put in the back on your like back two molars and for the top and bottom. And it basically creates a space so your mouth can fit the braces and your teeth can shift properly. So not everyone needs them. I have a more narrow, not as round, but a more narrow jaw. And I never got my molars taken out, my wisdom teeth. So they just said I just need the spacers for a week. So I did that. To tell you the truth, I never even, because I was looking so forward to getting the ball rolling, I did all this research, but I never even thought about what braces would feel like in my mouth. Even though I saw so many videos, watched so many YouTube videos, everything, did so much research, asked all these doctors, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be fine. So the part of the reason why I'm making this video is to not only tell you what some people didn't mention in their videos, or I felt like they didn't really explain that deeply, maybe because their experience was a little different, and also for my own documentation of the journey, because I'm super excited for this, but to tell you guys that I did not expect so much of the pain that I went through. So explain what that meant. Obviously, first they prep your teeth, then they start hooding on. I got the ceramic ones because they're clear, they're a little bit less obvious. Ideally I wanted Invisalign, but a few doctors told me like, yeah, Invisalign's great, but it's not gonna really do what you need to do. Like you're not just filling in spaces, you're prepping for surgery at some point. So like Invisalign's gonna straighten your teeth, yeah, but we're trying to get things into a better alignment that brackets and metal braces will be more likely to do the way we need it to. So I was like, alright. So that happened. So they do that, prep your teeth. I swear to you, I did not know what the F to do once these were in my mouth. I felt like I had like marbles, or almost like those fake Halloween teeth in my mouth. that I had like, once I got up, I was like this, like, hi, how do I talk? How do I eat? How do I close my mouth? Like, how do I do anything? That it like seemed impossible to think like one day I'd be able to like put my lips down. So that was the first thing. I like ran home, wore my mask in the car, super self-conscious. The next day, this whole past week, honestly, today makes an official week since I got my braces put on. And I will be 100% honest, it was probably one of the most challenging weeks I had in a while, pain-wise. So to explain, a lot of the videos that I saw, yeah, they talked about, you know, your wire might be poking, your cheeks hurting, your teeth are really sore and feeling a lot of pressure from them. Definitely. I didn't feel the wire, but I felt the pressure, and I don't know. I liked it because I was like, oh, it feels like something's happening. Other than that, you can't eat anything. Like, you can only eat soup, smoothies, anything super soft, mashed potatoes, because your front teeth feel like, I took a bite of a piece of chicken and I thought my teeth were gonna shatter. Like, they felt so delicate and fragile. I couldn't even, I saw people mention that in videos, but I was like, kind of curious how that felt too. No. Also, I ate ice cream yesterday, and accidentally, as I was trying to foot it like over one of my gums to help it, it went over my front tooth. I never felt sensitivity like that. It's like, you know, you eat something cold and your tooth like, ooh. This was like times a billion. I was like, I need to pour boiling water down my mouth. It hurt. But the worst pain of it all, which I wish more people spoke about, is, so maybe not all braces have this. Maybe I didn't realize until a couple days later that I may be getting rubber bands, because if you look closely, right on the side, there's like these little points that stick up on some of the braces. Not all of them, but some of them. And that's where like rubber bands would hold, right, to help align your bite. Let me say something about that. Those are probably the worst things that's a part of this whole braces journey. Not only did it feel like I was never gonna heal, but I was in tears talking, because if I were to like pronounce anything, unless I was talking like this, thank God for a mask, by the way, because I don't know if I would have been able to like show up to work or do a lot of things because of the pain. And it made me just like so aware, and like I didn't want to talk, I didn't want to look at people, I didn't want to talk to people, I didn't want to repeat myself. I work in the hospitality industry, so not only did I have to like try to enunciate and explain and repeat myself, I had to do a billion other things on top of that. So this was like misery, true misery for me. So it's difficult because, as you can see, our lip kept getting stuck. Like, you can kind of see it. The sides keep getting stuck. So you're constantly adjusting your lips, because now there's a whole new layer. Not only is there a layer, it's bulky as hell. And your mouth is like, so what are we doing? Like, how are we supposed to get over this? And you're just trying to not get cut, but also be able to talk. Bed rest were a thing for this. I wish I would have got paid to just like lie in bed. Even if I didn't get paid, I would have been totally fine for a week out of work and not have to communicate with anybody. So they told me, oh, you just need to take a couple of Advils, you'll be fine. No. I was popping 3 to 4 500 milligram ibuprofens for the past week up until yesterday, because I was in excruciating pain. So because it's slicing the inside of your lip as you're talking and it keeps getting caught, it was the bottom and the top. I noticed, since I had a more smaller mouth, a more narrow jaw, right away your lips get puffy and swollen, and you notice like this swelling around your mouth that is just, you know, you're starting to look different already, like day 2, and you're like, I don't even want to look in a mirror. Some people's videos that I saw, They looked like they were adjusted, like nothing happened, and they were able to go about their day. Obviously, their speech was a little off, and it was an adjustment, but look-wise, from their before and after looked like nothing. Looked like they just had metal in their mouth, and they were chilling, and were having like little pains. This was cutting me up like I was in damn hostel getting sliced and diced. So the whole, you can see, I don't know if you could see the blisters anymore. All of this inside was like I have one right here and one at the bottom of my lip inside. But there were blisters. So think of having a blister. You know when you have a blister on the back of your foot, but then you put another pair of shoes on and now that blister's open, but you're walking all day, so no matter what, you just feel the pain and it getting scraped and rubbed against fabric in your shoe, and you are like in so much pain, but you gotta walk. That's what was happening. So imagine that in your mouth. So it felt like I had an open wound and I just kept like a needle, just kept stabbing it. I just kept stabbing it all day, every day. So I cried at work, I cried at home, I was miserable, and I was reading that it'll probably take about 4 days for there to be a turning point. My turning point came yesterday after 6 days. And that was when I realized I only had to take 1 ibuprofen to last me the whole day for the most part instead of 4, like I unfortunately had to. I also went to the orthodontist yesterday because I knew the day before that, the pain, I was like, if this happens 1 more day, like I need to go. I can't do this anymore. I don't even want these braces anymore. So they ended up just giving me, so they give you this wax, which is pretty cool. They give you all these tools to help clean your teeth and care for your braces, but they give you this wax that you put right over those pointy parts because they know it's gonna be stabbing your gum, it's gonna be stabbing your lips. Some people have it worse than others. I felt like I had it very badly, unfortunately. So they give you that, but I was like, the wax ain't cutting it, the drugs ain't cutting it. Like, I need something stronger. So they gave me like a silicone based one that was like bigger, but I don't know, I had an issue applying that to my tooth because you have to pat your teeth dry before you apply it, but the silicone just wouldn't stay. And then you eat, or when you eat, then you have to brush your teeth, and when you brush your teeth, the wax or silicone come off, so then you have to apply it back. And it's like such a process that sometimes I didn't even want to eat because I knew like, damn, now I have to go brush my teeth, and when I brush it, everything's gonna come off and I have to start all over again. But I just applied it because it was hurting. Pain in the ass, worth it, but pain in the ass. So all of this is, I'm set to have my braces on for the next 18 to 24 months. Ideally, I think I take good care of my teeth for the most part, other than the vaping. I do drink alcohol as well. But I don't drink soda. I don't really drink sugary drinks. I mean, outside of alcohol, now I think about it. But I try not to eat any hard candies. Don't really eat candy to begin with. Chocolate is my weakness in life, so is ice cream. So we're trying to keep things the same way we've been eating. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to eat a salad with greens, but I've been putting spinach in a smoothie to help give me nutrients. I've noticed a lot of people, even asking people in my personal life about their experience with braces. A lot of them told me like, you're gonna drop so much weight because you're not eating the same as you used to. I'm already really thin for the most part, so I'm not really looking forward to that. So I've been trying to eat more than usual, maybe snack a little bit more than usual on like small things, but I don't want to drop that much weight because I'm already on the thinner side, But other than that, I just want to tell you to expect pain, especially because I had my lips, you could see I kind of like tried to put my lips together, and that was also a thing before the braces. Now it's gotten a lot more comfortable, but years ago it was never really that difficult. My lips were more prominent, more rounded, because I didn't have such misalignment until the last year or two. But other than that, I noticed that that's a small change that's happening. So you can maybe see the difference. So this is the side I suffer from TMJ the most, right? And my chin is less defined. Again, this has happened recently, and this is why we started this journey and process. And here, this is my good side. It just seems more smoother and rounded and more feminine to me too. But I know, just again, over time a lot of things change. But I do just want to give like a disclaimer or as a warning for anyone getting adult braces, especially if they're getting it to help their TMJ, but also to prep them for possible surgery. I know that I need the surgery, and as much as I want to get it, I also, don't want to. I never had any major surgery other than like stitches in my eyebrow, but I don't look forward to that recovery because it is a few months up to half a year. And on top of it, they're breaking your jaw. So I guess I won't know if I need upper jaw surgery or lower jaw surgery or double jaw surgery until the braces are off and they really see what they can do and how much the braces did for me personally. But obviously the whole point of the jaw surgery is, part of it is for TMJ and people who suffer and have a long face syndrome like I do. So I've researched that before the doctor even telling me. I didn't know that I was considered to have long face syndrome, but my symptoms and my aesthetic kind of all matched up to what that would be. So it made total sense afterwards. But before I knew that jaw surgery was a possibility in my life. But I still don't know to what extent, and I don't think they could really tell me until we at least get to some sort of halfway mark or full term to determine that. But I will say, please, 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 please do your research. I think I drove everyone crazy, especially my parents and my friends, with how much I spoke about this before getting it done. Just so I guess I didn't feel that crazy and obsessive, but I just knew how much this began affecting my life. And people think, oh, maybe it's just like this little cosmetic, like, kids get braces, whatever. But as an adult, you making that decision to get braces versus your parents like, oh, let's straighten your teeth, get them, is so much deeper, And on top of it, I'm doing it for the pain and the misalignment, and to pray that helps treat it the way I needed to. So as self-conscious and as insecure as I was this last week, finally feel like I'm at a turning point, that even though like it's still so weird to see my mouth even wider than it was last week and my lips sitting differently and talking, but the crazy part is, the benefit that I noticed so far is that I used to have such a major pain on the, like, I felt like I was constantly just trying to crack this or stretch this. Like I said earlier in the video, I thought I might have a thyroid problem. I would have everyone like touch it and just see like, oh my god, it feels like a steak. Like, it just felt so tender, and felt like I was always straining on this side. But like, I can almost cry. I was like tear up talking about this, because that's the one thing that I noticed right away, that pressure and that strain and that constant need for like an adjustment has subsided, so like way more than I thought it would. And I didn't even think about that until I attempted to film this video yesterday, but it got interrupted. And as I was filming it, I was like, I was mentioning it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, the pain is gone. Like, it, I can't smile too big. It was just so crazy to me. So right away I was like, oh my god, it's helping. Even needing to like not like crack my jaw in a way, because I was getting locked jaw. noticing, I don't notice any major changes in my teeth yet. Like this tooth would be a little bit more inward. I had caps put on these teeth like 5 years ago because I grinded them so down, and I had two front teeth were more prominent. I also had caps put on these teeth because they broke and became very fragile. They also broke off again, so I'm gonna leave those as is until everything's done. I have one tooth, it's hard to tell, is turned. So it's been turned for a while. So I slowly see like a slight turn coming back. But what I did notice the most is my molars were a little unaligned. So one was like, how do I do this? One was like here, and then one was like this, and now they're more on track with each other. So maybe that's where that pain was. I'm still not sure, but seeing this, like, I'm excited just to feel less pain every single day and wake up and just see like, okay, a week passed, now 2 weeks passed, now a month passed, like we're a month in, and start seeing actual changes. Because again, for me, my teeth were already pretty straight, but I need them to widen, to expand, to sit in place, so I'm not grinding. My TMJ becomes less of an issue, and we can reposition my jaw one day. So it helps with my breathing again, it helps with my chewing, my speech, my eyesight, my headaches, my earaches, my muscle spasms. So again, do all your research, trust yourself in knowing your body. And also when you go to the doctor's office, don't just let them tell you what, like, yeah, they're doctors and they're professionally trained and obviously have a lot more information, but to do your own research, especially with like a potential surgery, but just in general, going to a doctor, you have questions, like you want to go prepared with what kind of questions you're asking, what you know that you need, what you've been experiencing. And maybe, I don't know, sometimes I felt like I was saying too much or knew too much about it and was being too detailed, that they would like get a little irritated. And that's when I knew, like, this is not the doctor that I want to be dealing with. And not to say that they were all like that, but the last few that I had, there wasn't a lot of reassurance until I got to Dr. Orsini, and I was like, wow, I knew someone would understand this. So I'm glad I'm with a specialist who knows how to take the proper action to help me, because I knew enough of what I needed for myself to be able to help myself and accept certain answers and determine those decisions to decide, do I really need braces? Do I really want the surgery? So when those things are confirmed, it kind of puts you in a positive headspace of like, maybe I should go forward. It is a massive investment. I'm paying for the braces all by myself. They are $7,000. I had to put down a payment of I think 1,700 or 1,750 or something like that, and then every month I'm paying $150 for the next 18 months. On top of that, I just got a car, so there's a lot happening right now, but this is an investment for myself. I'm about to be 30 next month, and I wanted to start really taking care of the things that I've been talking about for so long, or thought like at some point I need, and now is just the time, because I want these issues to not be something that I'm going through my 30s now talking about this, or this even being something that needs to be affecting me negatively. So again, I will be posting about probably every month, because every month I have to go get my braces tightened. That will be April 17th, my next appointment. But again, this is a documentation of this journey for myself, for me to look back on, but also to help you guys any way I can, because I know how helpful all those videos and all those vlogs of everyone getting their braces before, after, during, their results, their insecurities about it, and it helped me so much of just understanding so much more about what I might need, how to handle it, what to expect for the most part. But I knew for me, like I said, the cutting was very bad. So just be aware that depending on the shape of your mouth or the crowding in your teeth or the spaces in your teeth, your mouth is going to be affected a different way. So for me, I was getting cut badly, and that's why I had to take such strong ibuprofens, because the pain was unbearable. Is even eating, just FYI, PS, don't eat acidic foods, acidic drinks, anything with lemon, lime, hot sauce. I made the mistake of putting hot sauce on mashed potatoes just for flavor, and I swear to God, it felt like someone put a fire burning stick down my mouth, and I was on top of the misery, more miserable. But anyway, y'all, I hope this is super helpful, and I hope that if you have any questions or like this video, to like down below. Also comment if I can help you in any way with my experience. It has only been a week, but I felt like so much has changed within this week. I went from get these things off of me. Well, actually, I went from excitement to can't close my mouth, how do I ever talk again, to embarrassment and feeling super insecure, to being miserable and in so much pain, to now feeling like, okay, this is a good thing, remind yourself. So still slight pain, but we are moving forward. So if you like it, click that like button, and if you have any questions, oh, my lip keeps getting stuck. If you have any questions, wow, every time I say that, if you have any questions, now that I try. Anyway, but subscribe to stay updated for this braces journey. I'm out, y'all. See ya.